Hello everyone, we have an awesome review today. This is the New American Standard Reference Bible in the 2020 edition from Lockman. And as you can see from the Bible here and the box, this is in the Prime series, so this is their premium line of Bible. I've been really looking forward to reviewing one of these ever since they came out, and so I'm really excited for this one. So this is the box that it comes in. It's a two-piece, have all your info on the side. There's nothing on the back, it's just a white. And so they have all their info, sorry about the lighting, on the edges. So you have the features, what's in the front, what's in the back, which Bible this is. This is the brown goatskin leather, note on the 2020, and then a sampling of the text. So it is a very busy box because they don't have a lot of information on the back. One thing I will point out is that if you want to watch my unboxing video, you might have noticed that this Bible did come in paper, and so it was bound pretty well and starting to train a little bit on the yap. But after I removed the paper and it kind of settled in a little bit, it actually doesn't fit back into the box very well because the yap is so stiff. And so I don't know if it's true of all of these editions, and the black goatskin might be a little bit softer and might not have that problem. But at least with this one, the box is a little bit snug to put it back in. So it's not one that, at least in this state, I'd want to be putting back into the box because it really bends the leather in a very odd way. But I don't know if that's true with all of them. So the first thing is the leather is not super soft. It is very pliable, but it's not a supple, creamy feeling leather like some of the other goatskins out there. But it does have a good grain to it, and it does look nice, and it doesn't feel terrible, but it just is not soft like you might expect from seeing a goatskin cover like this. Spine has 5 raised hubs, and you have Holy Bible, New American Standard Bible 2020, and the NASB and Lockman Foundation. Something interesting about this is that you might remember from the Leathertex edition that they had Reference Bible added with the Leathertex. And as I pointed out in that video, you can really get away with a lot when you do blind stamping because it's not very noticeable really, and so you can put a lot on there and it won't look too busy. But with the gold stamping, you can see it just does start to pop out a little bit and get very loud if you add too much. So I'm really glad that they took the Reference Bible off and they just kept the layout as they have it here. So it has a generous yap, brown perimeter stitching. See if I can focus here. There we go. It looks really nice, and you might recall that this corner was a little bit crinkled after I unboxed it. You can see that it is starting to flatten out very nicely. And another thing with this cover being so stiff is that's partly why that it won't fit back in the box, is because the yap's not training very well because it's very stiff and it doesn't want to do that. It's still bendable, but it's not floppy like that. Then you have brown head and tail bands with a black and brown 3/8 inch wide double satin ribbon angle cut. These aren't super long, so they do suffice for this Bible, but they're not extravagant. Then we have brown, I believe this is a calfskin liner. I'm not certain, but that's what it feels like. Then you have a gold perimeter gilt line, and you can see that it doesn't go all the way up to the edge. It's out about 1/8 of an inch. So it kind of sets it almost halfway between the block and the exterior edge. So it's just a design choice, but it does stand out a little bit. So you have red under gold art gilding. It is very nicely done. It's a little bit speckly, but overall it looks really nice. And then on the back here you have goatskin leather cover and the ISBN, and it is edge lined. So the dimensions on this Bible is that happy medium of 8.5 inches tall by 5.5 inches wide by 1.25 inches thick. So really that great mid-sized Bible. And you'll notice that I wrote front in here, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Don't worry, it is not an abstract thing. So you have presentation page, marriages, wife's family tree, husband's family tree, births, deaths, and occasions to remember. Then you get into the Bible itself. You'll see that this is printed in Korea. And as I've noted in other reviews of the Korean Bibles, I have found overcast stitching on all of them on both sides. Some of the India printings from Thomas Nelson, I've only found it in the back, but these ones are always consistently on both sides. So you can see this one here, you can see that extra row of stitching, and that shows up in a couple pages into Genesis. So you have a forward, old books of the Bible, and then the Old Testament. So you can see it doesn't lay completely flat. It will stay open, but it doesn't. The tab wants to stick up a little bit. Don't worry about that. That is not a problem. That is just, especially with more mainline produced premium Bibles, that is something that it's just natural. With the tab being in there, it's going to stick up for a while. It will start laying much flatter the more you use it. So this is your text. It is a wonderful layout. I've gone through it before with the Leathertex edition, so I won't be too extensive, but this 33 coated premium Bible paper is really nice. If you watch Tim Wildsmith's creating his own Bible that he would like to see, he used this paper, and you can really see why. It's super opaque. It has a nice white texture to it, and it's not too bright, but it's very good under all lighting conditions, and it's just really readable, especially this 9.5 point font from the Lockman Foundation. The really awesome thing about this one is that getting to a section here that has an example, is the textual footnotes are separated from the cross references, and they're always under the right hand column. So if there's any textual footnotes which are a limited set, they will be under the right hand column. And then the verse cross references are at the bottom here, bunched together. So it really makes your separation between textual footnotes and cross references easy to distinguish. And I really like that. These do have pilcrows for the paragraph indications. And something that's cool about this one is that if you don't want to spend the $200 to get a premium Prime edition, the Leathertex editions of this Bible have the exact same 33 GSM coated Bible paper. So these have the same paper, different bindings. And so if you just want a Bible with good paper and good readability, the Leathertex edition will serve you perfectly well, which I think is a really awesome feature to have. So the New Testament has Words of Christ in black, my personal preference. And then at the end, you have the other cool feature that I like about this one, and that is the concordance, dictionary concordance. So you have a little bit more meat to your reference system in the back. You have some inserts with the more history behind the words and the meaning of the words compared to just your references of where they're located in the text. So it adds a little bit of depth to your concordance. At the end, you have the books of the Bible introductions bunched together. Then you have a Bible in a Year plan, parables of Jesus, and miracles, and then the Bible maps. I really like Lockman's Bible maps. They are still on semi-gloss cardstock paper, but their colors remind me of Skylar's maps, which I really enjoy and probably are my favorite maps at this point. So definitely like their choices in this. The thing I wanted to note about why I said I had written front on here, is this is the one critique I have. And I don't know if it's just a fluke with this copy. This is obviously a review copy, and so I don't know the history behind the review copies. Sometimes they're first runs, sometimes they just have unique problems. But this one didn't seem to have very good glue. So originally, these have Oxford hollows, and originally there was a lot of space. This space right here was about tripled between the cover and the block because the glue was coming undone. And I don't know if that was just this edition or if there was just a run of the glue that wasn't very sticky, because it basically didn't dry. It was just still tacky all the way. So I, as being the person who doesn't mind experimenting, took it all apart and re-glued it so it's not a problem anymore. But that's a bit excessive for anyone who's gonna be buying this. So I don't think anyone else has complained about that, but this one did have a problem with the glue. So I consider that a minor issue. I think it's something that will be resolved in if ever it comes up again, but this is a fair and honest review, so I did want to point that out. We did kind of look at this already, but I did want to verify that, yes, these are the same text block, the Leathertex and the Prime editions, but as you can see, the cover is really the only main difference, and the art gilt page edges are the only difference between the blocks. The paper and internal setting is exactly the same in both of these. The other one I wanted to look at is the personal size large print reference from Thomas Nelson in the New King James. I reviewed this one recently, and this one has a very similar layout. I believe this is a 10-point, just had to double check there, 10-point text size, so very similar text size. And I made this comparison when I reviewed this Bible, but for the sake of whoever's watching this Prime video, you can see this here. Very similar design. The biggest difference is the New King James is justified text where the Lockman is not, and the textual footnotes and cross-references are combined in the New King James, where this one they are separated. So the biggest difference, but overall has a very similar layout and size comparison. Obviously the yap on the Lockman's a little more, but dimensions are very similar. My last comparison is actually kind of hilarious because it's only external. It's not really the inside because the layout is completely different, but this is really a picture of two extremes. And if you're not familiar, the Legacy Standard Bible is an update of the 1995 New American Standard, and the 2020 New NASB is also an update of the 95. But the Legacy Standard came out as a response to the 2020 in kind of the opposite direction interpretationally. So it's very interesting to see in one video the two polls basically on this translation, and I thought it was just kind of funny. So externally they both have brown goatskin. The Legacy Standard is a much softer, this is what I mean by a soft goatskin cover, where this one is a little bit, you can see, not quite the same. It folds very differently. Then you have generous yap, red under gold art gilding, a little more pink with the Lockman, gold perimeter interior gilt line, and then gold spine stamping. So exterior very similar, interior obviously completely different, single column versus double. So that is the New American Standard 2020 Reference Bible from the Lockman Foundation in brown goatskin leather. Really like the look of this Prime edition. They did a great job with their choices in formatting and just the overall design. Really like the generous yap. They did a great job. Some people have complained about the type they use for the spine not being all capital letters. I kind of like it. I think it's a unique feature that kind of sets them apart from other publishers, and it does not look bad. It looks really good. So kind of a unique feature there, and just a great Bible to hold. The paper is fantastic, so definitely can't say anything negative about that. So if you're looking for a high quality premium leather Bible, go with the Prime. If you want a cheaper but with just as good a paper, go with the Leathertex. They did a really good job with that one too. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.